What's up, babes? And happy Friday again. Still trying to release one video every Friday. Um, I was gonna do a One Piece theory video that I've been saving, like kind of just for whenever there's a break. Um, like this week, sadly, there is a break. Talking about maybe why Zoro needs to fight Mihawk, because some people don't think that's gonna happen. I can understand that with how the story is going, but no. Jinbei's importance in not only the story, but among the Straw Hats, and the two most underrated arcs probably ever. But those will be for another day. Today I thought I'd try something different and talk about why you need to play the new Kirby game, Kirby and the Forgotten Land. I haven't really been too impressed with a lot of newer games that I've been playing. I've been playing a little bit of Elden Ring, just beat Kirby on stream. Arceus, like I said, was pretty lackluster for me. I didn't like how redundant it was. I wasn't a fan of repeating the same thing over and over and kind of how tedious the whole process was. But Kirby and the Forgotten Land surprised me. Very much surprised me. And as somebody who has not even played too many Kirby games, and it's been a minute since I've played a Kirby game, I was blown away. I was absolutely blown away. And why is that? Well, to start, probably the last Kirby game I played, like all the way through, was the mirror one. I don't even remember the name, but the mirror one. The one that I think you start, you can pick whatever power up you want as you collect them, and then you go through it. That was a very good game, handheld. I think it was Game Boy, I'm pretty sure it was. But this is the first game that I feel like I played since then. I didn't play any of the new ones. I didn't play anything on the Wii, the Wii U. None of it. None of it. And I didn't even know where Kirby had left off at that point. And Kirby, I mean, it kind of maintains its same things that it's great at. And I've heard good things about these other Kirby games, but I think everyone agrees on how amazing this Kirby game is and why you need to play it. Just for starters, the music. And now Kirby's kind of always been one to knock it out of the park with some of the music that it does, but this one just seemed especially good. There were so many different areas and variety of levels in this game, from like riding on boats to marching through a mall to going up Mount Doom. It was just such a landscape worth of amazingness that Kirby brought, and the music was so fitting throughout so much of it. Kirby, what was great about it is it modernized it, and as you can see from this picture, angry Kirby here in a car. I didn't know what to think at first. When I first saw this game, it looked like Kirby Odyssey. And did it play a little bit like Kirby Odyssey? Maybe. But is that a bad thing? Not really. But at the end of the day, I don't think it was too much like it. Yes, you could turn to a staircase. You could turn to a vending machine that shoots Coke cans at people. And you can turn into a car and a cone. But it was great. And actually, this specific song, which I didn't even plan, but this specific song plays at the very beginning, like right after the intro of intro parts. Just an amazing take on starting the game. You immediately go into a car, you're introduced to this modern world, and Kirby's just kind of there and you don't know why. And I think that's the beauty, is the story is so simplistic, you don't really need something to wrap it all up. You expect to see Meta Knight, you expect to see Dedede, but it's just simple. Kirby doesn't even know what's going on, so why do you need to know what's going on? And you don't. You just understand, okay, like I can use these powers, I can shake my stick, and I can do all these things that make it so intuitive with this modern world that it's putting out. That being said, the enemies were fantastic. The boss fights were great. They were easy, and it is a Kirby game. So even on wild mode, you have a choice between doing easy mode, which you should never do in a Kirby game, or wild mode, which was definitely more difficult. I think I died maybe a total of 4 times throughout the entirety, including the post game, which we'll get to in a second, but amazing. There are 6 worlds. All the worlds are pretty different. I wouldn't say vastly, but pretty different on kind of some of the enemies you're going to get. But the progression of it's very good. And one of my favorite things about this Kirby game, and I don't know if they've done this in previous Kirby games, because like I said, I haven't really played one in some time, but being able to power up your power-ups is awesome. And like discovering how broken some of these powers are is an incredible thing to like come to discover. Some of my favorite ones were the Ranger. I don't know if that's been in before, but the Ranger was awesome because it's literally just a gun guy. I don't even think I got the final power up for it, but it was amazing. It makes you do these bonus levels, and there's probably like 6 bonus levels per island, which only has about 4 levels. So if you complete all of that, I don't think it took me too long to beat the whole thing, but you have to collect a certain amount of Waddle Dees per level, per world, in order to move on to fight the final boss, who was not too difficult. Kinda, I mean, there were some bosses in the game that were very hard, but that was majority post-game. But these little levels, they time you. You get the stars that help you power up these things. You have to find the scrolls that allow you to do it. I had a buddy who 100% of the game in like what seemed like 2 days, like pretty easy. Like, I don't even think there was that much time put in. I think in total, I might have put 20 to 24 hours. And for a $60 game, that might seem like a lot, but the replayability that this game has, and I think that's probably its strongest point, is that it's just a game that you can kind of pick up, almost beat in a single sitting, maybe 2, maybe 3. It only took me 3 streams to beat this game, and then you're just done. And it was a fantastic game, a fantastic experience with excellent music, and I couldn't be happier. And that was before I even got to the finale. So then I get to the finale. Spoilers, if you played the game, you probably want to mute me now, but I got to the finale, and Kirby turns into a semi-truck and just starts plowing through skyscrapers in space as we're about to take down this godly being, because Kirby gets crazy. It goes from being very simple, very like, oh, Dedede's the guy, and it's like, no, this person has the ability to instill nightmares in space, time, and everything's a void, and I'm just like, oh my god. So when I turned into a semi-truck and hit this guy going as fast as I could, amazing. You start the game as a car, you finish the game as a car. It was great. And then when I was done, I didn't even expect to play more. And then people were like, you gotta play post-game, you gotta play post-game. So I ended that stream, I was like, I'm done with that game. I'm not really a big post-game person. And then I was like, I'll stream it one more day and just see what it has to offer. And my god, if I didn't do that, I would have been missing out so much. It gives you another full world. And now this world is 1 level per world. So like world 1 gets its own single level, and you're kind of like going through different parts of the levels there, but it's harder. And you're trying to collect like the soul of the lion guy who was like you thought was the big boss, but Kirby always hits you with the Madara or Kaguya, where it's like you thought that was the final boss, but we got another one for you. And then you thought that one was the final boss, but we got another one for you again. So after you collect all those in these levels that are very well designed, you don't even mind playing them again because they're so well designed. An increased difficulty, you're now collecting things that's a little bit different. You already have your power-ups pretty set, like you're pretty busted at this point in what you can do as long as you've been doing the bonus levels, and it forces you to play it because unless you're sick, these power-ups are going to help you so much, especially in the final tournament. But you fight the last boss, and that was crazy. I didn't actually die there, but that last boss was crazy. Some of the things that starts to have you dodge, it feels like a bullet hell. And it just controlled so well. Kirby felt good. I haven't even talked to you about the controls. The controls of it were excellent. Kirby had like a Dark Souls roll, has like a couple different dodge options, and just there's a lot of like minute things that if like when I play it again, I'll use and it'll feel like I'm playing the game in a different way, and that just ups the replayability, ups how good the game is. So then after I beat the lion, I was like, all right, let's do the final. I forget what it was called. It was like the Ultimate Championship Tournament X or some shit like that. And that's the hard one where it doesn't give you maximum tomatoes. It gives you just a little oranges and you get a power up and you go in there. That was difficult. That was tough. And I almost beat it on my first try. And then they hit me with the, you thought, boom. And they hit me with spoilers once again. The Orbs of Death. The Orbs of Death. What does she say? And here we are. The fucking like mechanical... what is it called? Automated system morphing with like the god deity character involved, and it made for a boss that was just doing too much damage and was whooping my ass a little bit. I think I died twice to that one. I did figure it out, but solid difficulty. Some of the late game bosses I won't spoil for you, but they get crazy. Meta Knight's always a pleasure to fight. Dedede has a couple different forms, and he's a little different in this game, and it was just a pleasure to play. And the difficulty really does ramp up in the post game, and it kind of gives you what you had been looking for. Do I wish it was a bit harder, especially having been playing Elden Ring recently? I do, but the difficulty was solid. It was solid, and if you want, you can make it harder on yourself by beating it with different powers, and you can play like the same level over and over again so many different ways. So I would say finally, for Kirby, I would give it an 8.2 out of 10, and I think that it kicked ass. So make sure you go play that game. It is worth the $60. It is amazing. You will love it. You'll love the music too. You'll be listening to it when you're driving home from work. You'll be listening when you're going to the gym. You will be listening to it because it's very good. That's all I had for today. Peace out, guys. I'll see you next week for a One Piece chapter, probably. Let's go, Oda.